Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Mantu Prajapati. So today we will talk about Nikola Tesla. So without wasting any time, let's jump straight to the topic. It was a cold, quiet night. Snow was falling softly, and in a small village called Smiljan, a child was being born. At that very moment, a bolt of lightning flashed across the sky. People took it as a sign, as if nature itself was announcing that this child would one day bring light to the world. That child was Nikola Tesla. Tesla was different from the very beginning. It is said that once he watched his father's horse running across the fields and started counting the rhythm of its steps like he was studying some scientific pattern. His mind was filled with an unusual hunger for understanding the world. His imagination was so sharp that he could close his eyes and see machines in perfect detail, assemble them in his mind, and even test how they would work, all without touching a single tool. As he grew older, he left home to study engineering. The world was changing quickly, and inside Tesla a fire burned, a fire that pulled him toward the mysteries of electricity. He dreamed of sending power through the air without wires, reaching every home on the planet. People of his time thought such ideas were madness, but for Tesla, they were the purpose of his life. Eventually, he traveled to America. With nothing but a ticket, a dream, and a letter of recommendation in his pocket, he stepped into a new world. There he met the famous inventor, Thomas Edison. Their ideas clashed. Edison believed in direct current, while Tesla believed alternating current was safer, more powerful, and meant for the future. This disagreement grew into what history now calls the War of Currents. People argued over who had the right to light up the world. In the end, Tesla's vision won. Alternating current slowly reshaped the world's power systems. Cities lit up, factories roared to life, and nights began to glow. It was the same light Tesla had once imagined on that stormy night of his birth. But Tesla wasn't satisfied with just lighting the world. He dreamed even bigger. He envisioned a future where energy flowed freely through the air, where machines worked without wires, and where people could send messages across continents without touching a single cable. Wireless energy, radio waves, robotics, remote controls, ideas far ahead of their time, flowed from his mind like a river of pure imagination. He often spent long, lonely hours in his laboratory. The outside world saw him as a mysterious figure, tall, sharp-eyed, and always lost in new ideas. But inside, he carried a quiet calm. He cared nothing for fame or fortune. His only desire was knowledge. In his final days, while the world stepped into a new age of technology, Tesla lived quietly in a hotel room. He had no wealth or large family, but his mind still glowed with the same lightning of invention. When he passed away in 1943, the room was filled with unfinished notes, sketches of strange machines, and plans for a future that the world had not yet caught up to. Today, the world would not be as bright, as connected, or as advanced without him. From mobile phones to Wi-Fi, from radar to remote controls, everywhere, there is a trace of Tesla's imagination. He was not just a scientist, he was a dreamer who shattered the limits of possibility. Nikola Tesla's story teaches us that sometimes the world calls dreamers crazy, but those dreamers are the ones who end up changing the world. Although Tesla had won the battle of alternating current in America, his real struggle had only just begun. The world saw him as a genius inventor, but Tesla walked around with a single question burning inside him: what comes next? The universe of dreams living within him was so vast that even the horizon seemed too small to contain it. He wanted to build a wireless world. He dreamed that anyone, anywhere on Earth could receive light, energy, and messages without a single wire. For Tesla, this wasn't just science, it was the future of humanity. To turn this dream into reality, he began a project that became the boldest and most ambitious work of his life, the Wardenclyffe Tower. It was a massive iron structure standing tall near the shore, almost reaching for the sky. Tesla believed with unshakable confidence that this tower would one day send wireless energy across the entire world. Machines would run without cables, ships traveling across oceans would draw power from the air, and messages would fly from one nation to another like invisible birds. But the path of dreamers is never easy. Lack of money kept stabbing its way into Tesla's progress. People began to withdraw their support, investors grew scared of his grand visions, and some even started calling him mad. Yet Tesla would simply smile because his eyes still held the sparkle of the future he saw so clearly. Eventually, the funds dried up so much that work on the Wardenclyffe Tower came to a complete halt. Tesla still visited the site every day, standing before the giant structure as if speaking to an old friend who guarded his dreams silently. But slowly, the world began turning its back on him. Then came the day he feared most, the day his beloved tower was torn down. Tesla stood at a distance, watching as every blow brought the structure closer to collapse. It felt as though each falling piece carried away a piece of his heart. But in truth, Tesla's dreams never collapsed. Machines can break, towers can fall, but imagination never dies. In his final years, Tesla lived in a quiet hotel room, and from his window he could see the city glowing with electric lights, the very lights he had gifted to the world. He lived alone, but his mind was never lonely. Every night he wrote notes, sketched strange designs, and spent long hours gazing at the stars as if he were having silent conversations with the universe. This part of his life may appear calm and ordinary, but inside his mind the future was still humming with energy. He often said, "One day energy will flow freely through the air," and today those words are coming true. Radio, radar, remote controls, drones, wireless technology. The world may have taken decades to catch up, but almost every one of his ideas now lives around us. Tesla may have left the world from a simple, quiet room, but the world continues to shine with the brightness of his dreams. He was perhaps the only man who proved that imagination has no boundaries. It is like lightning, appearing in a sudden flash and changing the entire universe forever. Even though Tesla lived alone in the final years of his life, his world was never empty. Inside his mind, storms of ideas continued to swirl. The papers scattered across his desk, the strange sketches, and the designs of future machines all showed that he was a man who lived with science until his last breath. But as powerful as his mind was, it was equally mysterious. Tesla's life slowly moved into chapters that people still debate about today. It is said that Tesla had a deep affection for birds, especially a white pigeon. Every day this pigeon would visit his window, and Tesla cared for it as though it were family. Sometimes he spoke to it as if it were a companion who understood the quiet ache inside him. Tesla once said that whenever the pigeon visited, he felt a new strength awaken within him, as if an invisible hand was lifting him back to life. During these years, he was working on experiments whose full details remain hidden even today. Some believe he was building an energy-based weapon, something like a death ray that could destroy objects from a great distance. Others say he was trying to harness the hidden vibrations of the Earth, and there are those who claim he was exploring time travel or dimensions beyond our own. What the truth is, perhaps only Tesla knew, and he carried that truth silently with him. As age slowly weakened his body, he still followed the same quiet routine. Each day he walked to the hotel lobby, read the newspapers, observed people silently, and returned to his room to continue his experiments, lost in dreams of the future. But one day, the white pigeon he loved so deeply did not come. Tesla waited for days, watching the window with hope in his eyes. When the pigeon finally arrived, there was a strange glow in its eyes, as if it had come to say its final goodbye. Tesla later said that in that moment he understood that a great chapter of his own life had reached its end. The pigeon's death broke something inside him. After that, he was no longer the same. His scientific fire slowly dimmed, replaced by a quiet, heavy sadness. Then came a morning in January 1943. When the hotel staff entered his room, Tesla was found lying peacefully, as though he had drifted into a different world while sleeping. There were no signs of struggle. The desk was still covered with notes, unfinished sketches, and that familiar window letting in the glow of the city, the very light he had once gifted to humanity. Tesla may have left the world, but his story did not end there. His notes, secret files, and mysterious experiments continue to fuel curiosity even today. Some believe that governments hid many of his inventions because they were too advanced for their time. Others think that his final research still rests locked away in vaults. Nikola Tesla remained as mysterious in death as he had been in life. He was perhaps the only man who did not just understand science, but felt it in his soul. His story reminds us that those who carry the universe inside their minds never truly leave the world. They simply transform into their next great idea. Do make sure to comment for the next topic.